What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be doing some simplifying of radicals. So our instructions just say to simplify. I've got the square root of 40, square root of 72. Remember, we are not going to use the calculator for this. What we want to do instead is we want to write everything as a simplified radical. First thing that I'm going to need on the right-hand side, you're going to see that I have this list of perfect squares. Remember, perfect squares are if I take an x value, so on the left-hand side I've got a value for x, and I multiply it by itself. So for example, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 9, 16, and all the way down. The first thing you're going to need in order to simplify radicals is a really good understanding of these numbers. So essentially you're going to need to either have a list of these numbers or you're going to have these guys memorized. So starting with the square root of 40, the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my list on the right-hand side, and I'm going to figure out which of these numbers goes into 40. So what I mean by that is, can I take 1 times something to get to 40? Can I take 16 times something to get to 40? What we want to do is we want to find the largest. Okay, so working my way down, I know that 25 doesn't go in, 16 doesn't, 9 doesn't, but I do know that 4 goes into 40 evenly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this up, and I'm going to write this as the square root of 4 times the square root of 10. How did I do this? Well, 4 times 10 is 40. The reason I split this in this way is because the square root of 4 is a number that I know, right? 2 squared is 4, so the square root of 4 is just 2. So the simplified version of root 40 is 2 square root 10. Okay, let's do the same thing for 72. So I'm going to take a look at these numbers on the right-hand side. I'm going to think, is there anything from this list, the largest number that goes into 72? Well, I know 100 doesn't, 81 doesn't. I know 64 is not going to. Same with 49. But I think, does 36 go into 72? I think 72 is the square root of 36 times the square root of 2. Again, the reason that I picked 36 is because the square root of 36 is 6. So this is 6 square root 2. Okay, one more example here, number 3. One thing I noticed on number 3 is I have this -2 value out front. This is multiplying, so this is -2 times the square root of 175. What I want to do to start with is let's just worry about the 175, and then we'll bring the 2 back at the very end. So just like before, I'm going to work my way down with things that could go into 175. A lot of times this is going to involve the use of a calculator. 175 I know is 25 times 7. So this is the square root of 25 times the square root of 7. So this is 5 square root 7. Now the one thing that's different here on number 3 is I have this -2 out front. Once I have the 175 simplified, I'm just going to bring him back down. And remember, this was -2 times the square root of 175. 175 I know is 5 root 7, so I can just do -2 times 5 root 7. All I need to multiply are these two guys on the outside. So this is going to be -10 square root 7.